It's that time again, my friends. 5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10. Welcome into a Mental Health Monday here on the show. I know it's been Mental Health Day and week and month. I always don't keep up with those things very well, but I try to be as consistent on this show as possible with regards to the mental health discussion. This week, unfortunately, I've endured a little bit of loss. A good friend of mine lost his dad. I recently lost my little beagle. So it just kind of it hit me that, loss is unfortunately part of the game, right? The game of life, as it were. It sucks. And it gives immediate perspective, to me at least, in everything that's going on around me, right? So I hear the news of my friend's dad's passing, and I immediately think of how horrible that must be for him. And the right words escape me every time because I try not to use the sorry stuff because I don't know, I feel it's so implied, I feel that if you were to share that news with me, you know me well enough to know that I am sorry. So I was trying to find the perfect thing to say, and it really just came back to, hopefully your dad is not having to fight as hard. You know what I mean? His dad went through a lot, man. It was a crazy battle with cancer. And so it stops you dead in your tracks because you think to yourself, what about my dad? What about how he lives? Or what about what happens there? And now my buddy has to kind of, put those pieces back together, and he's the leading man of the family, right? It's a whole thing. And it really got me thinking about how difficult loss can be. And I've always said that the loss of my parents is the worst day of my life that hasn't happened to me yet because I don't have kids. And so, or brothers and, my loss of my brothers and sisters, etc. But there's the close family in that way. And I don't know that there's a right way to feel about that. I haven't had to deal with a ton of it in my life. I've had to deal with very unique circumstances around loss, for sure. I lost a cousin very early. I lost friends to a bus accident when I was a kid. That was a crazy time, freshman in high school, things like that. So it's been odd loss, but for the most part, it's been very, numerically in order, I guess. I don't know how to say that the right way, but so it hasn't really settled in with the word tragedy as much, right? But I also think about loss as an opportunity to remember and to always basically never forget. I saw a couple of posts recently, people had lost dogs on LinkedIn. And I thought to myself, yeah, man, I did the same thing. I didn't do a post. Am I a terrible person? Well, no, that's just not how I handle my business. And other people handle their business the other way. And they're heartfelt and they're homages to these animals. And it makes me believe that there's just as an important level of loss tied to the companionship of anything. Animal, human, etc. That we must give pause and thought to what next and how. After the loss of our beagle, my wife and I have not been without a dog in 19 years. So when it happened, I was just like, holy cow, I don't even know how to wake up in the morning. I kept hearing them. I kept thinking I had to take them outside and shit, right? You just take yourself through daily habits you've been doing for that long. So there was nothing. And that loss, as it settled in, it was like, wow, this is kind of a different time in my life now. I can reflect on the way it was, but now I can kind of get maybe geared up for this new reality of not having that responsibility, which I know sounds odd because I don't have kids. So it's like, geez, because the guy take on any responsibility. My company means the world to me. It is my kid, and it's a huge amount of responsibility. So to have this sort of break from it was, elder dogs ain't that much different than elder people, man. It can be a lot of work depending on what happens. So that part of it is caretaking, right? It's a lot. So I was like, whew, take a breath. Nothing makes my wife smile more than animals. So 28 days later, she's smiling ear to ear, turns her phone around, shows me a picture of the now beautiful Sydney. who lives in my home. Now, I wasn't expecting that. I was not in the mindset to do that, but I am in the mindset of making my wife happy. That is my business outside of Car Biz Done Better. And I take a lot of pride and hard work in that. So it makes her happy. It's not that I am vehemently against the idea. I'm in love with the convenience of not. There's a difference. I love dogs. I love this dog. She's sitting here staring at me right now on the floor. Love this dog. She's been with me not even a month. Love this dog. That's how I get. There's no problem. But if you're asking me what I would have rather done, I would have rather taken some more time. But that isn't how life works. And days like that happened recently with my buddy losing his dad gets me thinking about how maybe I need to really, really get on from that attitude and make it about every single day doing everything that I can and want to do, because you just never, ever know. I'm sorry we went a little bit deep today, but this show is a place for me to have an outlet as much as I hope it is for you to have an outlet. So go about your week, enjoy your week, keep your thoughts close on the way you can improve your mental health. And just by having discussions like these out loud, I think is a great first step. Thank you all so much. We'll see you again next week.